Welcome to Joy in Our Town. My name is Pastor Terry Bates. I'm the pastor of Faith Church here in Oklahoma City, and we're thrilled to have you join us for Joy in Our Town today, as we're going to be visiting with Pastor Sam Walker, who is the missions director at Crossroads Church here in Oklahoma City, an established ministry that's well known and demonstrated its compassion to our city on multiple levels throughout the generations. But today we're going to hear about a couple of special opportunities of ministry that they've committed themselves to and engaged with that I think you'll find quite interesting and may even have an opportunity to connect up with for yourself. So help me welcome today, Sam. It's good to have you with us today. Thank you for being with us. Tell us a little bit about yourself, just real quickly. You're the missions pastor at Crossroads Church.
I am. I'm the missions and outreach pastor at Crossroads, and I've been doing this since about May of this past year, and have found it to be a very eye-opening experience for me and a lot of the people that have partnered with me on this journey.
Crossroads has a unique reputation in our city for many, many years of just being a lighthouse and being a tool of compassion to our city. And we would be here all day and we would talk about all the different ways that Crossroads has impacted and is impacting our city. But let's talk about right now one particular program that you have, which is, I believe, a Tuesday evening outreach in which you're providing food and clothing and ministry to people who have this need.
It is, and it represents a very small portion of our outreach, but a significant portion in that it is an opportunity for us to go into the community where the people are that are in need and provide as many of those needs as we possibly can. We go in and minister not only to their physical need, but hopefully also to their spiritual needs. And I guess the greatest part of that has been that we have seen over 700 salvations this past year. And, you know, how does your heart not ring out when God gave us that as the call to go and make disciples of men? And that is what we've been able to do. A lot of people think that when you go to feed the homeless or to do things for the homeless, you're feeding the same people all the time. That is such a misnomer. There is such a transition that goes on in that community that we see probably 40 to 50% new people every week.
Wow.
It is amazing. By Oklahoma City being a thoroughfare of I-35 and I-40, just the transitions that occur across the city are unbelievable.
Well, you know, a lot of people think, you know, government agencies are out there. We have so many social services to assist people, families, those kinds of things. But the church has always been called to be an institution of compassion. We've never were told to wash our hands of that responsibility and just hand that over to the government. But even if we did, the government still has gaps and holes that the people that many times are homeless or transitional, there's no way that there's an agency or a service established probably that can do maybe as well what a ministry like yours does because of that transitional experience that you're talking about already.
You're also talking about a level of trust, whereas people are much more inclined to trust people who are from the community, who know them, who have ministered to them in the past. And we have two wonderful people, one by the name of Jamie Crawford, who makes these meals from scratch every Tuesday. She commits a tremendous amount of time to doing this. And then another one by the name of Gary Jones and his wife, Nora, who put a tremendous effort into acquiring and distributing clothes. Every week, we get anywhere from 30 to 40 orders from people who have said that, hey, can I get a sleeping bag? Can I get a jacket? Can I get a pair of socks or some underwear or something like that? And each week they take the time to put those clothing orders together to have them ready for them the following week. The blessing is that so many of those people have come back to us after they've graduated from the streets, offering jobs to other people who are on the streets still, and also thanking us for giving them the help and the hope that they needed during that time period to get over that hump. That is the most rewarding thing that we ever get to see.
Well, you said something that's probably one of the most unique pieces that I've heard in regard to a ministry like this, and that is that the people can actually place an order for a specific type of item that they have need of, as opposed to, and this is not a negative, but many times churches just kind of take a bundle of clothes or jackets out, put them on a table and say, if there's something here you can use, take it, you can have it. But for your team to actually take an order and say, we can try to fill the specific need, that has to be a unique piece, but also a unique challenge for your organization.
It is, and we have volunteers. I want you to understand this is not just Crossroads. We have volunteers that come out every week. We've had as many as 75 volunteers out there on a night. Probably the lowest we've fed in the last 10 months has been about 80 people. This past Tuesday night, we fed 107 people. And we've had nights when it was 10 degrees, and there would be people out there serving. And we'd form a circle after serving and pray and thank God for what He had done as far as the salvations and as far as being able to minister to the people that we had met with. It does them so much good that sometimes I think that the ones who volunteer get more out of it than the ones who are served.
Now, is there a specific location strategically that you target, or is this a mobile site, or how do you approach your specific location?
Currently, we're meeting in front of the old Goodwill building. It's an abandoned parking lot, and we'll show up and set up lights. We have a set of tree lights. We have a string of lights that we set up. But long before we get there, the lines will form waiting on us. And it's at 3rd and Walker, and we usually do it at about 6 p.m. And the lines will start forming, if it's not too cold, at about 4:30 in the afternoon.
Wow.
A very unique experience this last week was after we had met downtown. We went to a restaurant because we're looking to begin a process of a teaching or a class for some of the individuals who volunteer to help them go stronger in God and be willing to give their testimonies to the people that they meet with. And one of the people who we saw at the restaurant we were at was a former person who had been on the street. And she looked at us and said, "I know you all." And, when we found out who she was and where she was from, it was just a joyous reunion, because it just brought to tears the fact that we had helped somebody and they had actually made it out. And it blesses us every time that happens.
That's great.
And we see that quite often.
What kind of demographic of people, like, are they all men, women, young, old? What kind of demographic would people expect to see coming out and asking or receiving this kind of help?
We see from the cradle all the way up into the 80s. What we have found is that now, because of the ministry, there are people who live in the neighborhood who maybe just need that meal to help them make it through the week, that will come out to receive that meal or to receive some of the goods that we provide them in order just to help them make it. We have people who are coming from work, men coming straight from their work because they need a meal. They don't make quite enough to make ends meet, and they say that it provides them such a help, they can't help but give us thanks for what we're able to do for them. It blesses our heart every time we're out there.
So we've talked quite a bit about the people that are receiving this, and you referred a moment ago to maybe offering some training opportunities for the people who volunteer to better share their testimony. And you've already referred to the fact that not all of the people that are there are necessarily from Crossroads. It can be people from the community who have a similar passion. But talk about this for just a moment. Why would someone from the community, what would motivate them or stimulate them to say, I want to get off my easy chair on Tuesday night and go down and help this ministry?
The call. If you've ever read Matthew, the 29th chapter and the 19th verse, Christ told us to go, not sit.
Right.
And if we go, then the warmth that we'll feel in our own hearts for having done and been obedient to what He called us to do is enough to keep us coming. Believe it or not, most of the people that we are now seeing come out to volunteer are college students, are young people from out of different communities. We have a group that comes from UCO. We have guys that come and they come straight from their work and they apologize every week for not getting there exactly on time. But they grab a garbage bag and immediately when they get there begin policing the area to make sure we leave it in a better condition than we found it. Everybody who comes finds something that they can do that's gratifying to them. And more than anything, I think just to see that they are able to help people is enough to make them want to come back.
Well, you've hit a very sensitive area that I think is being reflected now in this millennial generation, that they get a lot of negative marks for maybe being unchurched and de-churched.
Yeah.
But it seems like that when they have the opportunity to roll up their sleeves and be the church in action, that they're attracted to that opportunity.
And that's what I think they want to see more than anything. Not just you telling me that you're a church. I want to see you be a church. Mm-hmm. What are you doing to help our community? How are you involved in my world? And when you show them that you're able to do that, it opens their heart and it opens their ears to be willing to listen to the gospel. And the gospel becomes alive when people see it in action.
Right. Well, you know, as a missions director, I know that your view is not just local but global. But I think people, while they appreciate global ministry and missions is very strategically important, I think there's something that they really like feeling that this is something in my own backyard where I can make a real difference.
That's true.
So I think we have to create those opportunities and we have to applaud the opportunity that you're making available to others and the fact that they don't have to be a part necessarily of the church to be a part of the outreach. So how can they connect up with you guys if they want to join you? Or do they just show up on Tuesday night? Do they need to call the offices? How can they best connect?
The best connection would be for them to show up at 3rd and Walker at about 5:45. We can give them a brief orientation as to how we're going to be doing things and what we're going to be doing. The first night, I would suggest that they be there as an observer, just to see what goes on. It is touching when you see the people, where they come from, how they exit back into the community. Many of them sleep in local areas. Some of them go back to their homes. But that many people coming out of the woodwork is something pretty phenomenal. And a lot of people are blessed when they are able to see it.
Praise God. Well, we've been visiting with Pastor Sam Walker, the Outreach and Missions Pastor at Crossroads Church here in Oklahoma City, and their ministry on Tuesday night at 3rd and Walker. Show up about 5:45, 5:30, get out there early and join them in making a difference in touching a life and changing a destiny through compassion ministry and holistic ministry to the whole person. Thank you for watching today.